Welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Favor and this is
Obed.
Okay guys, so today we want to pick up where we left off from our last video. As my husband promised you, we're going to talk about my first trip to Nigeria to meet my husband's family. So my husband, you promised the audience, go for it.
Yeah, people, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, from anywhere you're watching. Just as we promised, it's just to bring to you guys the first visit for my wife to meet my family, my parents and my siblings, because all my siblings were in Nigeria then still. Yeah, we came, we planned, and we had to travel. And we went, the trip only lasted for a month. We went for a 1 month vacation actually. And we traveled by Ethiopian Airways.
Ethiopian Airlines.
Ethiopian Airlines. And then it was a nice trip, but a long trip because from Canada, Pearson International Airport, Toronto, to Addis Ababa took us about 13 hours on air non-stop, which was the first time either of us travel for that long hours without a stop. So it was a crazy trip. You have anything to say about it? Because you got scared on that flight and you keep walking all about.
Let me just tell you, my longest trip was to Brazil when I went to meet my husband. That trip was 13 hours straight, but it was in the night. So I practically slept all the way from Toronto to Brazil. But this trip, we went from here to Addis Ababa, that's in Ethiopia, with Ethiopian Airlines. And that was 13 hours straight flying as well, right?
That was it.
Yeah, straight flight to Addis Ababa. But getting to Addis Ababa, guys, that was just when the journey began, because then we had to travel. Well, let me just go back a bit. With Ethiopian Airlines, it was really different for me because, you know, I'm usually, like, as I said, Brazil was the farthest place I've ever been. Normally, I go to Grenada 5 hours, 45 minutes, and I'm there home. And my house is not far from the airport. But this one, when we get to Addis Ababa, we had to wait how many hours on the airport? Was it 8?
No, it wasn't. The transit was very short.
Oh,
We even had to
4 hours,
run.
yeah.
No, we even had to run to catch up the next
Yeah,
flight.
because the flight to Addis Ababa was delayed, right?
No, it wasn't. It was our coming back to Canada that the flight was delayed. Going to Nigeria, the flight wasn't delayed. We ran, you forget? We ran from the, on arrival at the transit hall when we came in from Canada. We had to run so we could catch up. It was just less than an hour transit. But then the flight had to fly to Nigeria for another 6 hours. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, guys, because it's been a while, right? So
Yeah, the only after then the transit that took long was the one we traveled with KLM and Lufthansa.
Okay.
Their transits was.
I think
about
I'm
6
mixing up
hours.
the
mixing up
the two
period.
two transit period. Yeah. So so we did, after reaching Addis Ababa, we went and we got the other flight to Nigeria, and I was very, very surprised when I got to Nigeria. Nothing that I was expecting, guys. And getting on the airport to Nigeria and going through the whole process of the immigration, and it was just different. That's how I'll leave it like that. It was different. I don't know if my husband wants to say more about that.
Yeah, it was crazy because let's call a spade a spade. That's the truth, you know. You can't travel any part of the world on arrival. Instead of immigration to get your passport and stamp you in and ask you immigration questions like procedure, how long are you guys here for? Rather, they keep asking you, what do you bring for us? Okay, what do you have? So everybody, she was like, what's going on? They keep asking for money, and not like they check in your duration of stay or if you have a valid visa or whatever. And that's when they had to stamp your passport for you to come in. So actually, we did clear the immigration. I was proceeding to the custom to go get the baggage. The next embarrassment, I would say surprise for her, was when I got my luggages. The guy was pulling off the trolleys to pull out so we could go out to get a taxi. And some other person was running behind us. Hey, Oga, hey, Oga, hey, Oga. I know it's me they're talking to. I told my wife, just keep going. So don't watch behind because I know all their styles or whatever, the Nigerian tricks. So she kept moving and the guy finally ran to meet us, catch us, and tapped me on my shoulder. I tried to watch behind, and the guy who was pulling the luggage, the trolley stopped. So I was like, "What's your problem?" Say, "My guy's interested in all your luggage." I said, "Are you crazy? Are you normal? Like what?" I said, "Interested in my luggage for what?" Said, "We have to go back." I said, "Then you have to call him to come to meet us right there." So after the much argument, I refused to turn back. We get our way because I superseded him, and we proceed outside from the airport at the exit.
Yes, guys. So yeah, so going to Nigeria, it's different. Let me just say it's different. And then when we get to Nigeria now, my husband lives in
Delta State.
State in Warri. I know my husband. I don't need you to help me.
All right.
Yeah, so he lives in Delta State in Warri, guys. So we had to lodge at a hotel in Lagos for a few days, and then travel to. No, that time we went with Eric Airline.
No, that was the local flight. Yeah, we now flew from Lagos to Warri with Eric.
They had the airport open at the time. I think it's still open, but they just Eric Airline don't travel there. I'm not sure, guys, so don't hold me on that. So anyway, we took the flight and we went, and meeting my husband father was the highlight of my trip to Nigeria. My father-in-law was such a loving human being. And when I was in Nigeria, I was hot, roasting in fever. And my father-in-law, every morning he wake up, he would say good morning, after we do our prayers and all that, because in my mother-in-law house or my father-in-law house, you can't go to bed without praying. You can't get up without praying. I just want everybody to know that. So after we do our prayers in the morning, you first thing question, my daughter, say, "Yes, Daddy. Are you feeling the
Harmattan?"
The Harmattan. Harmattan is like the winter period, I would say, right? Like where it's cold and
during the Christmas period.
Yeah. He keep asking me, guys. I couldn't feel anything cold.
That's because you're from here and it's snow. You know the difference between like a little breeze blowing and like going through the real cold, like the snow period. Yeah, so that's right.
Yes, I couldn't feel no cold, nothing. It was just, for me, I didn't know the difference. So, but anyway, get to meet him, and my father-in-law is such a wonderful, warm-hearted person. I call him my daddy because he's really my daddy. I love him. I love my mother-in-law as well, don't get me wrong, but I was just I guess because I was brought up without a father my father died when I was younger, so I actually took him like my own personal dad, like my own dad instead of a father-in-law. So yes, and then I got to see my husband, all his family. We went to his village. Don't ask me to say the name of it. I know it's in Imo State, guys. And you want me to say, babe?
If you want, or if you don't want to, then that's a good thing the state where you
Yes,
come
it's
from,
in Imo State, guys, and I will leave it like that. Don't ask me the village, okay? Yeah, so village life is really nice. There was a nice a stream, like where you go and bathe and all that. So that was, yes, so there was a nice little stream in the village, like a river, and you can swim, and it was really
people
fun.
go there to do laundry, the locals to do laundry, to get drinkable water and all that. Some people go there to wash. There's this breadfruit nut they call ukwa. Some people go there to tie their cassava in the water to get it ferment, and then they wash it to come what we call fufu yakbu. So this is a stream for utility. Everybody in the neighborhood communities around, they come to use it too.
Yeah, so yes. So it's like basically like what we have in Grenada, guys, a river. People go and they bathe and they wash and they do all sort of things in the river, fish. People looking for we call it crayfish home. I don't know. They call it crayfish as well, right? But do you have? I didn't see that in your.
Yeah, it's a number of that, but they're smaller. But people only throw little lines to get some regular fish.
Okay, yeah. So similar to what we have in Grenada, guys. So you think, and Nigeria, with Nigeria, the traffic This is one thing I remember. There was a time me and my husband was traveling. Let me tell you about my husband. And my husband is the kind of man that he don't full his tank. He wait until his tank is empty before he think. So we were stuck in traffic. And come here, me pray, God, please don't make this car to fuel to finish, because the traffic was not moving. It was just there and it wasn't moving. And I was just praying and asked God, please don't let this car stop in this, like stop here. Don't. But thank God the traffic start. Well, not that the guys that was driving, you know, there is something like a call a keke. Those little
tricycle.
You guys call it tricycle?
No, normally on an English note is a tricycle, but the Nigerians, mostly in Delta, they call it keke marua.
Yes, okay. Yeah. So my husband tell you what is keke mara. So they remove a whole, there was a gas station there, I remember carefully. They removed the blockage from the gas station and they made a road through the gas station. So he actually got in the gas station directly so he can get his tank full again, guys. So that was one of the things with my one of the things with my, even here it would tell me that my wife, if this car stop, you go push this car.
No, come on, man. That of Canada is sometimes, you know, the gas price fluctuates. That's the crazy thing about it. Unlike Nigeria, but Nigeria, when it's festive period like that, why I didn't, you see the terrible queue at the gas station. It's crazy. And then
yeah, that's
you want to get the gas from the side, the roadside. People do black market. They sell in jerry cans, containers. It's the prices are high, like crazy. And then when these guys, I don't know how they know you're not from, or you don't live in Nigeria. As soon as they see you, they know, oh shit. So if they were selling the black market by the roadside in containers for like 5,000, for example, and I pulled over to request or want to buy, they would either double or triple the price. So sometimes that gets me crazy as well. But the queue going to the gas station and queuing in Nigeria is quite a pity. Oil producing country, maybe ranking the 5th or whatever in the world, you still, even oil now is still going on. Currently, from what I heard a couple days ago, they get a gas a liter for 500 naira a liter. So it's crazy. That's how it goes.
Yeah, it's really like the lines is really long in Nigeria at the gas pump. So I think that's where he got this bad habit from. So, but anyway, guys, yeah. So back to what we were talking about before. So, you know, I met my mother-in-law. She's such a wonderful woman. You know, and then my husband, brother, and her wife. The both brothers, one of the brothers is a pastor, and his wife, and then I met they're twins actually, right? So I had the opportunity to meet both of them, and really, really nice, you know, brother-in-laws. You know, I don't have any complaint about them. It was really a wonderful trip, you know. That first trip, it was like a blessing going there. So, you know, I mean, they do things a little bit different from in Grenada. But I always compare them to Grenada because we all third world countries, right, guys? So, you know, I always compare them. And it was a little bit different with the traffic and then the population, because Grenada is just a tiny island, but Nigeria is a huge, huge country compared to Grenada. So that was some of the highlights about, you know, my Nigerian trip. But overall, guys, it was a really wonderful trip.
Yeah, it was fun, you know, but then we always are on the road every day. While we're in Warri, because we spend the time like being in Warri, going to the village, and we visited some other cities. We stopped at Owerri and all that. Then every day, my parents are the trader type, so they're not working class people, so they have a shop. So in the morning, while we're there for the first couple of days, they stopped going to shop. Oh, we're here. So, but then after that, I was like, no, because I grew up with that kind of business line too. So I have to go see some of their neighbors at the shop, which I knew, and say hi to them. So instead of them staying home because of us, we choose to go with them. So
when they turned their back, my husband tried to sell their luggage and take the money. It was fun, guys. It was really fun. And another thing, the food. Let's talk about the food, my husband. Let's talk about the food. We need to talk about the food. So yes, guys, let me talk about the food. The food in Nigeria is really nice. I really love it, guys. I don't eat everything because Nigerians, they're very high on the jollof rice and all that, and I'm not a rice person. Whether Canada, Grenada, I'm not a rice person. But what I love is that hot roasted potatoes with, I think it was abacha they put in it.
Yeah, no, they call that one
Uba with palm oil. To this day, I make it. I think I'm even gonna make it tonight, guys. I love that roast potato with the
roast sweet potato.
Yeah.
And sometimes the roasted plantain.
yes, the bole.
Yeah, bole.
Yeah, my husband brother wife, Paul's wife. She used to be angry because anytime I see roasted potato or roasted plantain, I must have it. I must have it. And let me tell you about one thing about a plantain. So my brother-in-law, the pastor, Salos, he gave my mother-in-law, remember the plantain?
Yeah.
A bunch of plantain. And she know I love plantain, so she bought it for me, guys. You know, the most, I don't know, it was weird. This plantain would ripe one by one. So every day I'll be taking one plantain. And I'm serious, this plantain was ripening just one every day. The next day you go back, one is ripe again. And so I finished a whole bunch of plantain because plantain, green banana, yam, potatoes, that's my kind of food, guys. So the food is really nice. And the roast corn, that was the first thing I had when I get to Nigeria. It was roasted corn, my husband. And you know my husband's favorite food is starch. And
Ogbo soup.
Huh?
Ogbo soup.
Say it?
Ogbo soup.
Okay.
That's Delta's Warri kind of food, not really my kind of food. It's originally the Delta part. Where we born and grow up, Warri, that's their local food, I would say national. Their kind of national dish for them.
Okay. But when I said your favorite food was starch and what was it did I say? I can't remember.
Banga soup?
Yes.
Yeah. They are both paired. They are similar soup.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, if anyway my husband see this food, especially in the local places, he would tell my wife, we have to stop this car and go eat this food. But I don't really like it. So, I never tried it anyway. So, I shouldn't say I don't like it. Let me just take that back. Yeah, I never really tried the starch. I don't think it's something that I would like. So, I didn't bother to try it. But I love ogbono soup. I love okra soup. Which one again I like? I like egusi sometimes, but I don't like, not really. But ogbono soup is my favorite. I really love it with pounded yam.
Yeah, people. Another thing is because that was the first time we were visiting, so she don't really know my style. But what I do, I can't eat continental dishes here, and maybe you want to go to a restaurant here, you might say, okay, let's go to McDonald's, KFC, Popeyes, and that's if you want those kind of junk food, or then you want to go to a restaurant. But my kind of thing when I'm back home, I want to eat by the roadside. You see people roasting yam, plantain by the roadside, those kind of buka that just bacha like a wood plank knock on the side of the road, and some galvanized zinc over it. Somebody have a food selling by the road. Those are my kind of thing. But trust me, you might look that some areas of vicinity might not be neat, some might be clean, or you look at the people selling it and you might think the food might not taste good. But trust me, those food are good quality food. They taste good. I like to stop by the local and patronize. And there was a shocking day or moment for my wife. We were driving and I saw an old man with a bicycle selling palm wine by the road.
Go ahead, talk.
Selling palm wine. So, and I realized when growing up, those are the style the way in the township area, the cities, not the village. That's how they sell their palm wines. I already passed him. When I was driving, I passed and I realized, wow. So I had to stop. My wife was like, what's it? Are you okay? I said, yeah. I had to reverse back to go stop the man, and the man was like, oh, how much do you want to buy? I was buying, we start chatting, and he keeps selling for me. I was drinking. My wife was like, how does it taste? What are you drinking? So after much, I had to still buy for takeaway. I'll buy a bottled water size, a regular big bottled water size. Then I paid him and I tipped him. He was like, he hugged me, greeted me and said thank you. And then we left and we drove off.
Let me tell you, that's not how the story goes. Let me tell you, my husband don't really say it as it is. We were driving in the busy street of Warri, and all of a sudden I see my husband jumping out of the car. I'm like, my husband, what's going on? It was palm wine. My husband was chasing after in the street of Warri. Just park the car by the road with me, sit down in the car, and just go and get his palm wine and enjoy his wine, and took home with him. And so it was really nice. Like, every day we go out on the street and just walk around and go through the local. There's a market in Warri called
Ibodu Market.
Ibodu Market. That's my favorite shop. Lillian, you know what I'm talking about if you watch this video. Me and Lillian would go to that market like almost every day. What we're looking for, God knows, but I really like that market, guys. And in Nigeria, you can get everything, and I was surprised. Everything and anything is there. Any name brand clothes, you just have to know which is the real and which is not. Everything is there. The food, the clothes, the shoes, everything you need. Nike, Pikey, anything is there in Nigeria. So guys, we enjoy our stay tonight in Nigeria. I want you guys to... You have anything to say, my husband?
Yeah, it was fun, and after the 1 month coming to an end, we had to go to the local domestic airport at Warri, Usubi Airport, to on our departure. But fortunately and unfortunately as well, for us to fly to Lagos, both parents start crying. Both my dad and my mom, they felt they kind of miss us again, and they were wondering how soon we'll be coming back. And then we start crying and feeling like we miss them too. And then we flew from Warri back to Lagos and spent a couple nights in Lagos before our departure back to Canada.
Yeah, they were really sad when we were going. Even me, I was sad. I never knew I was going to, let me just say that, I never knew I was going to enjoy Nigeria. Nigeria is my second home now, guys. Honestly, Nigeria is my second. I never knew that I was going to enjoy Nigeria, regardless of the hustle and the bustle in Nigeria. It's fun there, it's relaxing there, and if you have nice families or in-laws there, it makes it so much better, and it was really good. So guys,
one more thing, that was when she had to know about NEPA. There's the electricity company in Nigeria. We're about to skip that, but I always say that because that's where you never predict and there wouldn't be a constant power supply. But every household, average household, have a generator that generates electricity. So it's the smallest or the cheapest will be Tiger, we call it, and that's a better pass my neighbor, the nickname in Warri side. So when it comes to the dawn, like the falls at evenings going to the night time, and there's no power, then everybody don't want to go to bed with in the dark. Some want to just put the generator to some certain hours to watch the news, TV, movies till when they get late. Those who could afford the gasoline can run it or would run it till the next morning. So when it gets to that period, it's a whole lot of noise and smoke pollution. It's a sound pollution in every neighborhood in Nigeria. So, and then the first time she got there, she didn't notice there was no power. There was light till the night time, or when the power go, or they got to put gasoline in the generator, and again for the second time was like, yo, what happened? I was like, there's no power. I said, oh, okay. And then fortunately a couple days later the power came, and when they, hey, NEPA, everybody started up NEPA, and then when they took it back, oh, so like, who really was NEPA? So I had to explain, and anyway, it was fun. The 1 month going down was, it looks like it's a long stay, but during the stay and coming back up to Canada, it was a short period of time.
Yeah, that was really surprising to me because for a country, I know the whole history of Nigeria. Well, not the whole history, but as knowledgeable as I know. I was shocked because Nigeria is such a rich country, and they have so much oil and so much, they have money, and the light, there constantly no light. We constantly have to be buying we call it petrol,
that's free
fuel for the generator. Yeah, that one thing I was really shocked and surprised about. But overall, I came from the Caribbean, so I know what darkness is. So I know tourists in Nigeria is just a local girl in Nigeria, guys. So anyway, guys, you want to say anything else, or that's it?
No, that's it for today.
Yeah.
We'll be bringing you more content. Watch out for it. always like, share, subscribe, and keep your notification bell on, that whenever we drop any video, you will be the first to get to watch it. Thank you.
You hear it from the man himself. Subscribe to the video, guys, and hit that notification button, because I'm not going to be letting you know when I post a video. Hit the notification bell, so whenever we post your video, you will be the first to be notified. And big up Nigeria. All my people in Nigeria, I big you up. Mommy, see you soon. Big up Nigeria. I love Nigeria. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Subscribe.